I get a feeling it's going to be a riot.
I don't read the newspapers because they all have ugly friends.
At the starting of the week, at Sunday talks, you'll hear them speak. It's only Monday. Negotiations breaking down. See the leaders start to frown. It's more than Monday.
We are back with another edition of your favorite morning show, The Daily Dose on the Guerrilla Radio Network.
You'll be sitting, taking lunch, and news will hit you like a punch. It's only Tuesday.
But Simon,
Ask your doctor if the Daily Dose is right for you. Common side effects include sarcasm, informed opinions, and wondering how the hell these people got elected. The Daily Dose starts now.
but Simon,
Good morning, everybody. You are listening to your Daily Dose on the Guerrilla Radio Network. My name is Eric. I'm your host, and this is our morning show that we do every morning, Monday through Friday. We take the weekends off, but yeah, here we go. So it's Wednesday, 8:11 a.m., and it's the 10th of June, 2026. And we've got some interesting stories for you today. Got some local stuff for you, and we've got some national stuff for you. Then, of course, we've got a little bit of international stuff for you as well. And it'll be in that order. See how I did that? Yeah. So we started local, then we went national, and then we're going international. 1, 2, and 3. That's how we do it on the Guerrilla Radio Network. We 1, 2, 3 it. Okay. And that's where we are this morning. So we've got local weather coming up first. Let's go ahead and talk about that. Like I always give a little disclaimer before the weather. We do broadcast out of Palm Harbor, Florida. So with that being said, if you're in another part of the state or another part of the country or another part of the world and you're watching this show and listening to it, that probably will not apply to you. The weather only applies to the Tampa Bay area. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and get into it so we can get the show going. We've got a lot to cover.
Couple of showers off the east coast of our state this morning. They're almost kind of running parallel, that southeast to northwest flow. Also around the Vero Beach area, Fort Pierce, quick little shower this morning. I like to see that though early on because it's been a few days since we actually had some decent rainfall. But today and tomorrow, we're going to do a nice little scattering, if you will, of showers and storms. So we actually hit 90 yesterday, even with all that cloud cover. Day before, of course, we were at 95. And so far, as we enter the 10th day in June, third of the way through, we've had 3 1/100ths of an inch of rain. That's it. The entire month so far. So yeah, we do need some. Mid-70s inland, upper 70s, and actually still 80 degrees in St. Petersburg for you first thing this morning. So very warm, very muggy, especially along the coast. And our dew point temperatures, not only are they above 70, but a lot of them are already in the mid-70s. And this is not going to change because we go from a southeast wind to a west wind this weekend, which makes it even steamier. So we're going to hold on to these 70-plus dew points for the foreseeable future. I guess that's the best way to say it. So we return some rain chances today, 40 to 50% today and tomorrow. Then Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, the rain chances will head to about 40%. So watch as we scatter the showers and storms later today. Here's 2 o'clock or so. Just keep an eye. Keep an eye on your Sky Tower radar, okay? Because what we want is some showers and storms to start moving in all different directions rather than just give one person or one area rain. And we'll do that about 5, 6 o'clock. We'll scatter the storms around. Then tonight, it quiets down. But then the whole process picks up right back all over again tomorrow. So here's what's left of Christina. This is the Eastern Pacific, already on their third named storm, believe it or not. And a lot of this moisture is going to get pulled northward into the Bay of Campeche and eventually into mainland Mexico. But other than that, nothing. going on in the tropics and nothing in the Atlantic at all. So scattered afternoon, evening storms today to the tune of about that 40 to 50% range with your high of 91. 78 degrees tonight. It'll be warm. It'll be muggy, but then we'll do it all over again tomorrow with that 40 to 50% rain chance. And again, highs in the lower 90s. Got a light chop on the coastal waters for you with that southeast wind at around 5 to 10 knots. Our next 7 days, rain chances go 50-50 today and tomorrow. They're back to 40% for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
There you go, everybody. That is your local weather for Palm Harbor, Florida, the Tampa Bay area. Again, it's hot, it's humid. Maybe we'll get a little bit of rain, but maybe not. 50% chance. And that's, I wish I was a meteorologist, because if I could get my job right only 50% of the time and make a bunch of money doing it, I would love that opportunity in life. Unfortunately, with what I do, I have to execute 100% of the time. So that would be really cool, though. You know what I mean? Hey, yeah, 50% of the, the food went out tonight right. The other 50% of the food went out wrong. That's all right, though. We're going to give you a raise, and we're going to make sure that you're taken care of by the company. Hats off to you, meteorologists. You figured out the secret sauce to life. In other local news right here in Palm Harbor, Florida, a man is behind bars today. Robert Worthington, apparently. This guy, he went off the rails on Friday of last week and went to some auto shop and shot the owner of the business. He was in conversations with his friends leading up to the incident. He said, yeah, I have no job. I have no insurance. I can't go see a doctor. Life is fucked. I don't even know who I am right now. The friend tried to kind of help him a little bit during the exchange of either phone calls or texts. And he's like, no, man, I'm good. I can't be in the public, but I got to leave here for a while, man. The walls are closing in on me. And then next thing you know, this happened.
Meanwhile, a Clearwater man behind bars right now after Pinellas County deputies charged him in a deadly shooting. It happened just before 5 Friday morning at a business on 69th Avenue North in Pinellas Park. We brought that to you as breaking news. This is video from the scene. Investigators say 44-year-old Robert Worthington got into an argument with 50-year-old Craig Beath. Deputies say Worthington pulled out a gun, shot Beath in the head, who died at the scene. Worthington is now facing first-degree murder charges. Meanwhile,
there you go. Isn't that interesting? You know what I mean? The guy just went off the rails. He went crazy, and he absolutely just went and shot up this mechanic in his office. So yeah, there you go. That's some news out of Palm Harbor with our local news and then our local weather as well. So yeah, it's just another day in the office, I guess, for some people. You know what I mean? It's with the state of the economy, with the gas prices on the rise, grocery prices are on the rise, everything is on an upheave, and wages are remaining stagnant. You know what I mean? I can see how it would absolutely make someone go to just the dark side and start shooting people up and going crazy. When you feel there's no way out and you can't figure out a way to make ends meet and live your life comfortably without having to suffer and worry at all the time. All the time. I can see how that would drive people to the brink of insanity. And Robert Worthington definitely went there. So yeah, unfortunately, for the auto shop owner, that guy's dead, as dead as can be. And Robert's behind bars now. So there you have it, folks. Daily news, local weather. That is coming out of Palm Harbor, Florida. This guy going to national news. It's something. This story is interesting to say the least, but not quite as interesting as the way he looks. This guy was a former Take 5 oil change employee. And a year after he got fired from his job, he went in there and stole a bunch of money. Not even a bunch of money, a couple $100, nothing serious. And he got arrested. But the crazy part about it is this guy's got a huge social media following. I guess he's a social media comedian, and he's got like 300,000 followers or something crazy like that. And here's the story. I'll let them tell you.
A social media comedian with nearly 300,000 followers, accused of breaking into his former workplace and allegedly stealing just $200. Sounds unbelievable, right? Well, that's exactly why influencer DeJounte Wings is making headlines. DeJounte Wings, known online for his comedy videos and viral content, was recently arrested in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, in connection with a burglary investigation. According to police, the incident dates back to December 2025 at a Take 5 oil change location where Wings had previously worked. Investigators allege that someone broke into the business through a garage window, entered the office area, and took around $200 in cash from a safe. Here's where the story gets even stranger. Police say security cameras failed to capture a clear image of the suspect's face. However, investigators claim the business manager identified Wings based on his distinctive walk and familiarity with the building's layout. Authorities also say Wings had been fired from the business just weeks before the reported break-in. As a result, he was arrested and booked on charges including simple burglary and criminal damage to property.
So this guy identified by his face. All right, that's the crazy part of the story. Now, obviously, you people that are watching this now just saw the image that I put up there on that video clip. He's got a very, very distinct face. You know, you can't really. Let's just say he'd get picked out of a lineup 10 out of 10 times. Okay, if he was involved in one, but the video footage could not identify his face. They could only identify him by his walk. Really, his face. Just by his walk, that's it. That's incredible to me. That's incredible. They need to either upgrade their cameras or they need to figure out something, you know, a better surveillance operation for that Take 5. Because if you can't identify that guy's face, you're struggling with vision. You need to go see an optometrist or you need to upgrade your cameras and get something that's a little bit better to identify criminals, because their cameras are just worthless at that point, in my personal opinion. But yes, anyway, this guy, he yeah, he's in jail. He's another one. All right, getting on to more national news. I don't know. You know, I like a good bourbon every once in a while, but I'm not allowed to drink it. Apparently, when I drink a bourbon or two or three, I get a little hostile, is what my wife tells me. So I've been barred from drinking bourbon as of about 3 or 4 years ago. I guess was my last run at drinking bourbon neat. So yeah, but apparently there's some other people out there that love bourbon and they love it maybe a little bit more than I do because they're willing to take the extra step or go the extra mile to make sure that they've secured some bourbon and they have plenty to drink for a little while. Here's a
An unusual daytime heist is now under investigation after nearly $500,000 worth of bourbon vanished from a North Philadelphia warehouse. The theft happened on Friday afternoon at a facility on the 2400 block of North American Street. It appears to have been a coordinated cargo theft. According to the chief operating officer of A21 Wine and Spirits, the shipment of about 1,800 cases of Noble Oak bourbon was being stored at the warehouse and was scheduled to be transported to a location in North Jersey. But instead of reaching its destination, the bourbon was loaded onto a truck and then taken. Investigators are now working to determine who carried out the theft and where the missing shipment may have ended up.
They showed up at American Supply's warehouse. They said, hey, we're here for a pickup for A21, and it's 18 pallets of stuff. They didn't really know what it was, and unfortunately, rather than going through the regular security protocols, the warehouse did not have all of the things they needed to actually release that product.
Rob Cook says one of the protocols that failed was the fact that the picture on the ID the driver gave didn't match. The company has asked distributors, retailers, and transportation providers to be on the lookout right now for anyone trying to resell the stolen product.
That's interesting. You know what I mean? Those people that work in the warehouse,
He's a Democrat.
they might be. Those people that work in the warehouse are going to lose their jobs at the end of the day. I mean, they didn't, you know, I'm sure there's manifests and there's different shipping and booking, you know, shipping and receiving logs that need to be, you know, logged in properly, and identification needs to be verified from the logistic company that's moving the product from point A to point B. And from the sounds of that, they didn't seem to do any of it, unfortunately. So yeah,
He's a Democrat.
they're going to lose their jobs, I guess, or something bad's going to happen, because that's $500,000 worth of bourbon was supposed to get transported, and it just got hijacked. That's like the shit that you see when you're watching, the old gangster movies, when they hijack the cigarette trucks and then they go out and they sell the cigarettes at a discounted price. You know, that's kind of like what we're seeing right there. You know, they hijack the bourbon truck, and now they're going to go out there and they're going to sell the bourbon. You know, if it retails for $40 a bottle, they'll sell it for 25 or 30, and who cares? It's 100% profit at that point. So they're going to make the money no matter what. And yeah, they're just going to pocket all that. So yeah, it's a pretty crazy story. I thought it was funny when I heard it earlier this morning, and I wanted to share that with you guys today. Um, so yeah, if you get approached on the street by someone that says, "Hey man, what you need?" and then he opens up his trench coat, and instead of fake Rolexes and Figaro bracelets hanging from the inside lining of his trench coat, he's got bottles of bourbon hanging in there. You just if you buy it, just be careful. Look around and look over your shoulder before you buy it because you might be implicated in a sting operation. That's all I'm saying. So just watch your back when you buy black market bourbon these days because you might go to jail. Anyway, moving on in the news as well. Apparently, these talks with Iran and these negotiations, what we hear on a daily basis, and apparently 38 times in the last couple of months, statements have been made by our commander in chief that we are days away from negotiating a deal with Iran, and we're going to be able to bring this conflict to an end. But apparently, things just continue to happen. It seems like daily at this point, breaching the ceasefire and whatnot. So apparently, the other day, an Apache helicopter, U.S. Apache helicopter, got shot down by one of Iran's missiles, which that's kind of baffling to me as well. Because if you listen to the speeches that have been made over the course of the last couple of months, the United States military has decimated the Iranian military. We've taken out all of their warships. They're at the bottom of the ocean right now, from what we were told, and all of their missile systems have been taken out as well. Yet they reserved one missile, apparently, to take out an Apache helicopter, the world's most sophisticated helicopter in the world, was attacked by what may have just been a leftover missiles laying somewhere in their basement that we weren't able to get. But yeah, so apparently they took out one of our Apache helicopters, and then this is kind of a cool story. The rescue mission for the Apache pilots, I don't know if you're familiar with the setup on an Apache helicopter, but there's a two-person crew. One person sits in the very front that I don't believe the person in the very front is flying. I think the person that sits in the seat behind is the pilot, while the person in the front maintains all of the weaponry and radar system and whatnot. But the two-man crew went down with the Apache in the water. And instead of a calculated mission from like our Navy SEALs or whoever to go and rescue these people from the water, the United States sent out an unmanned drone ship, basically. And this unmanned drone ship it honed in on their location and it went and rescued them. This is a pretty cool.
Now, despite the ceasefire, there's a lot happening in the war in Iran tonight. The U.S. launched retaliatory strikes after President Trump says a U.S. Apache helicopter was downed by Iran near the Strait of Hormuz.
For the first time, the U.S. Navy used a drone ship to rescue that chopper crew. NBC5's Randy Gyllenhaal is in our newsroom tonight tracking developments in the Middle East. I understand Iran is now retaliating, Randy?
Yeah, so, Stefan, back and forth airstrikes tonight between the U.S. and Iran after the downing of that American chopper. As you mentioned just minutes ago, Iran says it struck a military base, an American base in Jordan, and claimed to destroy F-35 jet hangars. Earlier today, President Trump ordered strikes in response to the downing of that Army Apache helicopter. Trump said Iran hit it with a drone. The two pilots survived, stranded in the waters of the Strait of Hormuz, and they were rescued by one of these, an autonomous U.S. Navy drone boat, for the first time that tech used in combat. U.S. Central Command confirming what it called, quote, self-defense strikes against Iran, saying CENTCOM forces struck Iranian air defense, ground control stations and surveillance radar sites near the Strait of Hormuz with precision munitions from the U.S. Air Force and Navy fighter jets. The operation was a proportional response to recent attacks on U.S. forces and international commercial ships.
That's pretty cool. You know what I mean? Not that we got shot down, or not that Iran still has missiles and whatever, in their arsenal, but the fact that we have autonomous vehicles to go and do search and rescue missions right now. They tell us, maybe 5% of what we know, of what our arsenal is and the technology and the advancements that we have. We might know maybe 5, maybe 10%. God knows what else we have that we're not being told about. You know what I mean? As far as, just military, operations and, equipment and whatnot, we probably don't know 90% of what's out there. Hell, the stealth fighter, we didn't even know about the stealth fighter until 1993, I think, when we went to the Gulf War. That's when they rolled out the stealth fighter for its first like actual missions. But the stealth fighter was introduced, it was developed and it was introduced and sold to the military, I want to say in like 1972 or 1973. So we had that advanced stealth technology dating all the way back to the 70s, and we didn't even learn about it until the early to mid 90s. That's how crazy sophisticated our military systems are, and that's how much they want us to not know. And it's probably a good thing. I don't want to know what the hell we have out there, weapons of mass destruction, and we're better off as a public just not knowing, in my opinion. As curious as I might be, I'm probably way better off just simply not knowing. That just I'll sleep better at night. It like the great Jack Nicholson said in A Few Good Men, you sleep under the blanket of security that I provide. You know what I mean? And that's the truth. You know what I mean? We sleep under the blanket of security that the U.S. military provides. And the unfortunate thing is we have this quack that's running the country right now that's utilizing our military forces in order to gain personal, whatever the fuck it is that he's doing. I mean, let's just call a spade a spade. I called it years ago. The only reason Trump ever ran for office was to implement different laws and rules that would promote his self gain moving forward. And he certainly has not shown otherwise at all. Moving forward into sports, tonight, game 4 of the NBA Finals. It's going to air tonight at 8:30 p.m. Both teams have lost each home game. So the Spurs are down 2-1 in the series. If the Knicks win tonight, they'll be the first team of this series to win a home game. I know the Spurs are going to come at them hard, and they're going to make sure that they do the best job they can to win that game tonight. So it should be pretty good. If it's anything like the game that was on the other night, it should be pretty good. And then in other sporting news, it's here, everybody. It's been 4 years. Tomorrow's the day. The World Cup is back in action again, and it starts tomorrow with the first game starting tomorrow at 3 p.m. It's Mexico against South Africa. That's going to be aired tomorrow, and I don't know if it's going to be on what TV channels it's going to be on, but I do know that if you download the FIFA app on your phone, which I did 4 years ago, I've deleted it since, obviously, because it was 4 years ago, but if you download the FIFA app, you can watch whatever games in whatever country you're rooting for, wherever you're from, as the games air and in real time. So yeah, I don't know if it's going to be on TV, but you can definitely get that app and you can watch it if you care to do so tomorrow. So 3 p.m. tomorrow, World Cup is back. We'll see. I wonder who's going to win this year. We'll see what happens. That's all I got for today, everybody. We're creeping on the 23-minute mark here, so I like to keep the show short. I like to keep it sweet. Originally, I said the show was going to last about 15 minutes or so, but it seems as though we're running about 20 to 25 minutes daily, which is okay. I don't mind. You know what I mean? As long as you guys don't mind listening to my mouth and listening to the news a little bit every morning, then I'll just keep the show going at the same rate that we're doing it now. Why not, right? You only live once. I don't know what that means or how that applies to anything that's going on right now, but it seemed as though it was appropriate at the time. So with that being said, everybody, we are going to go ahead and sign off for the day. Hopefully you guys enjoy your Wednesday. All right. And we will be back tomorrow at 8:15 with another exciting episode of your Daily Dose right here on the Guerrilla Radio Network. Follow us on all social media outlets. OG Guerrilla Radio on YouTube, Guerrilla Radio Network on Facebook, or you can go to Guerrilla 47 on the Twitter or the Instagram machine. You guys have a great rest of your day. I'm signing off. I'll talk to you tomorrow. I'll see you around 8:15.
hate everything about you. Everything about you. I get sick when I'm around.